Hi, friends. Hello. Hi. This is Marina Shepelsky, attorney Marina Shepelsky, coming to you from New York. And today we're going to come back to our usual weekly format of immigration news, U.S. immigration news. I've been practicing U.S. immigration law for the past 20 plus years. And every week we discuss here news that have to do with U.S. immigration, with politics, with everything that affects U.S. immigration. And it's definitely a hot topic that's been in the news for a while now. And of course, there's news that have to do with just U.S. life in general, but of course affect immigration. Like, for example, the first thing that I want to discuss is a historical thing that happened this week. President Trump getting arrested. Of course, President Trump did a lot of things bad for immigrants during his 4 years in the office, but many people, many American citizens liked him and approved of him. He tried to bring this public charge thing back. He tried to do other things. And guess what? It came out that allegedly President Trump, before becoming president, was paying off his mistress, Danielle Stormy, or whatever her name is, Stormy Daniels, who is supposedly an adult film star, using his lawyer and then paying the lawyer as if this was legal fees. Of course, he couldn't pay with his personal money because that information becomes public when you run for president. And so he tried to sneak it off as legal fees and used the money from his election campaign to pay, which is really weird and completely uncalled for. I don't know why they did what they did, but here we go. And it could be a political move to discredit him and stop him from running again for presidency, which he said that he wants to in 2024. But the fact is that something happened that did give the police and the district attorney this ammunition. So this is related to immigration because everyone knows that we're still saying, oh, this is from Trump time, right? And Trump has become like the evil standard of what not to do for immigration. So I'm just going to say hello to some of my friends here. The Dream, top of the morning on YouTube. Sadia, and it says, blessed morning to you. Blessed morning to you. El Mescalito News says, good morning, bonita señorita. Thank you. Thank you so much. And Dara says, hello. Limber says, good morning. I'm happy to say good morning to all my friends on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. Feel free to post your immigration question below. Nothing I say in the show, of course, is legal advice, but we are here to educate and talk about the kinds of cases you're asking about and the usual things that happen. So I can just talk about what usually happens. And if you need any special advice, you can text us 718-215-9447 or call our office for a consultation, 718-769-6352. It's in my profile on Instagram and it's on the bottom of my screen here on YouTube and on Facebook. Now, I prepared, since I was out last week, I prepared a bunch of news for you guys, so let's talk about them right away. We talked about the Trump's arrest and the indictment. Then a new thing that's going to affect asylum interviews at the U.S. border with Mexico. U.S. is testing out, they're just testing it, a new system for faster asylum screening. On April 8th, the Biden administration announced that they will begin this week testing a faster asylum screening system for migrants caught crossing the U.S. border illegally. DHS said on Saturday that part of the preparations for the end of the COVID-19 border restrictions, Title 42 ends on May 11th. So now they have to deal with all these thousands of people, and they will be conducting initial asylum screening for a small number of migrants within days while they, so like as soon as they get into custody, They will have a phone interview with an asylum officer, or their lawyer can be present and an interpreter. It will be on the phone, and it will expedite screening for the first time, that initial screening of people coming in through the border. Another big thing, big historical thing that happened is that USCIS created the first ever virtual service center from USCIS that's called HART, HART, and it's called the New Humanitarian Adjustment, Removing Conditions, and Travel Documents Service Center. So this will be a virtual service center to process requests for humanitarian immigration relief, including visas for victims of domestic violence and crimes, to make sure to reduce backlogs, the lines for green cards, removal of conditions, travel documents, and improve processing times. This will be the sixth service center that's USCIS. So it's the sixth period center of USCIS for processing, but the first all virtual one. With the opening of the HART USCIS Service Center, they are responding to the crazy backlogs and the requests from everyone, immigrants, their attorneys, other organizations, to reduce the processing times, especially for humanitarian petitions. So this will be a hybrid service site. Virtual adjudication and coordination with other service centers for some administrative support will be available. Going forward, there will be 100% virtual center, and they will be able to interact with multiple time zones and no geographic limitations. These are the specific cases they will help with. VAWA, I-360s, refugee, asylee, relative petitions, Form I-730. Bona fide determinations that will allow U visa applicants to get work permits, so the Form 918. And finally, 601A waivers, applications for provisional and lawful presence. Currently, they're about 30% staffed with 150 people working there, and they're going to get to 480 trained individuals by the end of 2024 fiscal year to help all the other centers. Now, the third thing that I wanted to discuss is that DHS is now accepting immigrants' self-identified gender identity put down on forms. So if you were born biologically a male, but you are now saying you're a woman in your immigration forms, that's what USCIS will accept, even if your birth certificate says you are a boy or male. Now, another piece of news is that USCIS removes the 60-day rule on medical exam forms. So they removed the 60-day rule for doctor signatures on immigration medical exam results. Anybody who files after March 31st, 2023 can now submit their medical, and it will be good for up to 2 years after the doctor signed. Usually it's for people who are doing adjustment of status inside the United States based on marriage, based on vow, based on maybe employment petition. If you do your medical and you submit it, it's good for 2 years, and the 60-day rule is no longer in place. Another piece of news is that the lottery for the 2024 H-1B visas is finished. It's done, and they received as many applications as they needed. So they did the election already. It was done by the first 5-6 days in April. So if you're interested in H-1B visa, you have to wait for next year, essentially. And talk to your immigration lawyer. We are available, of course, sometime in I would say in January 2024, if you're interested in getting 2025 H-1B visa. And finally, the final piece of news is that Democratic lawmakers are asking the U.S. federal government to please increase immigration spending to fix the ever-growing application backlogs, the crazy waiting times. In a letter addressed to Homeland Security Appropriations Subcommittee in Congress, representatives in Congress, Lou Correa, Democrat from California, And Dan Goldman, a Democrat from New York, asked that the government double the funding allocated to immigration in President Biden's fiscal 2024 budget request to support application processing and reduce the backlogs with asylum, field USCIS office wait times, and service center offices. Despite the call for federal funding, USCIS is currently not receiving any money from US taxpayers. It is funded by the government filing fees you guys are paying when you file immigration applications. So when you pay currently $1,760 for a marriage green card, or $1,225 for the green card application, that money is going to pay the workers who work there. It's not enough. They already proposed an increase in all the filing application fees, and that's probably going to happen soon, and it's going to start in May 2023. And they're saying that the increase in the government filing fees will bring in about 1.9 billion per year to the agency, which should help them, hire more people and reduce the waiting times. But remember that it's going to cost twice as much now to get a family or a work green card or any type of benefit from USCIS, and all the visas are going up. All right, I think now I see people are watching. I'm going to get to answering the questions I'm already seeing on Instagram and on YouTube. Sue Ochoa says, good morning, sweetheart. El Mescalito News is asking, can he travel for a month with advance parole? He got his advance parole when he submitted his I-485 green card case based on a family petition. His girlfriend has cancer and I want to be with her. If you have advance parole, yes, you can leave US for 1 month and you will be in good shape. The Dream says, VAWA biometrics were done, then requested expedited work permit. It was approved. What time will it take for me to get the work permit, EAD? It should take you about 30 days. If your expedited request was approved, about 30 to 45 days, you should have your work permit. And Angela Mike says hi on Instagram. Hello. Manish says, hi, madam. I got my receipt number on February 2nd, and I'm waiting for my fingerprints. I'm still waiting. My case tracker is showing at 65 days. When will I get my biometrics? You should get them soon. Since you got your receipt notice on February 2nd, you should get them soon. However, if you've done biometrics before, sometimes they reuse the ones you did already, and you don't even need to go in person. So just call them and find out what's happening, okay? Somebody's asking to be in my video. I'm gonna try. I only do, you know what? I'm not gonna try because I don't know how to do this. So no, I'm not gonna try something now in the middle of my show. Next time. And Dara says, thank you for your live stream. Thank you for watching. Okay, Naresh Kumar says, I applied for a U visa in January 2022 and did biometrics in September 2022. How long to get my bona fide determination? From what I understand, 2 years. So I'm thinking sometime in 2023, 2024. But not like this part of 2023, maybe towards the end of the year. Mr. Mohid says, how long does it take to get a prima facie approval for VAWA? It takes about 60 days. If you included everything you were supposed to include, Mr. Mohid, it takes about 60 days. Mr. Manish says, hi, good morning. Khan says, good morning. Hi, how are you? Manish says, okay, we answered this one. Kristen says, good morning, Marina. And the Dream says, thank you. Thank you. Okay, what else did I want to discuss? I wanted to talk about this great approval we received this week for the national interest waiver case. I don't know if you guys are aware, but we do a lot of employment, work visas, and green cards in our office now since the beginning of, I would say, like 2022. We really got seriously into not just the humanitarian and family visa cases like VAWA, like cancellation or removal, like adjustment of status, but also national interest waivers, um, extraordinary ability visas, and green cards. So we received an approval this week that came super quickly. Literally, somebody was approved for a green card petition through the national interest waiver in like 2 months. And this is somebody who is both in business and IT and has really high level projects. And he convinced the government with our help that they don't need to do a labor certification for this job for the company because he is really outstanding. So we are about to file for a green card for him. A great question here from GT Vibes 592 that says, what's new with VAWA? What's new with VAWA is that, first of all, they started to get help. So before, let's say 2023, VAWA was only processed in the humanitarian unit of the Vermont Service Center. The Vermont Service Center was the only one who worked on VAWA and U visas and T visas. Now, as of about 2 months ago, the Nebraska Service Center has begun to work on these. And they're helping out Vermont because so many people are filing for VAWA that they just couldn't handle it. And the wait times for VAWA are currently like 3 years, right? So just to let you know, if you go to USCIS.gov, USCIS.gov, and you look for processing times, and I'm going to share my screen if you're watching me on stream on YouTube. Okay. All right. Now you see where I'm seeing processing times. So I always, like when you're asking me about VAWA, I like to check the processing times on a regular basis. They change this about once a month, but sometimes more often. Right here in USCIS, you could see Violence Against Women Act, VAWA. Of course, VAWA is for men and women. It's not just for women. And the Vermont Service Center, it still shows only Vermont. But right now, the Vermont Service Center is taking 3 years or 33 months to get the I-360 approved. In addition to that, once the VAWA is approved, you need a green card, right? That takes another 9 months or so if you filed for the green card with your I-360. If you never filed for it and you're filing that now, then we check, okay, if you filed that I-485 for your green card now, and it's based on family, VAWA is called family. And let's say you're in Boston, right? In Boston, it's going to take you, after your VAWA is approved, another 20 months to get your green card approved. Here's somebody on Instagram who says it's Shiva Aurora. She says, or he says, I applied 25 months ago for VAWA. How many months do I have to wait? As I just mentioned, because I looked on the line on the website for processing times for VAWA. I-360 VAWA, I'm going to do this again, is 33 months. So if you've been waiting 25 months, that means you have to wait at least 8 more months to get news about your VAWA. It could be a request for evidence or approval, either one, right? So it's going to take some more time. We have a case in our office right now that was approved in 2 years for VAWA. So just because on the average it takes 33 months doesn't mean that yours also will, but since you're waiting for 25 months already, it might be closer to 8 more months that you have to wait, unfortunately. All right. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Erkan Zeren says, after court accepted my motion to advance or to move up my master calendar hearing, and they extended until 2025, asked me to send another motion to advance. Why do you think this is happening? This is probably when they have the time for you. They're super busy, and you know, that's why it happens. There's no logic for this. If 2025 is still too far for you, you have to send another motion because that's the time they had for you, unfortunately, you know. It's Shiva Aurora continues to ask is if your asylum case is pending, but you also have VAWA filed and you have advanced parole, can you travel? You know what? Right now, I would not travel to your home country because you still have your asylum application open. You can travel, but I would not go to your home country. If you can avoid going to your home country, if you have asylum and VAWA pending at the same time, I really wouldn't recommend to go because your application for asylum that says you're afraid to return to your home country is still out there. It's still pending. All right, Mr. Mohit says, having a baby together in a marriage, is this a big win in VAWA? It certainly proves that this was a real marriage, but you also have to prove abuse and good moral character to win VAWA. Generally, to win any VAWA case, you prove three things. Number one, good faith marriage, meaning your marriage is real. It was not for green card, it was for family. Having a baby is proof that you were married for a family. Number two is good moral character. Good moral character is a police clearance letter from church or mosque or synagogue, or that you volunteer, or that maybe you are like donating to Ukraine or to whatever it is that you like to donate to, Red Cross. Maybe you work in a shelter sometimes or help homeless people and you have a letter. That's all good moral character. Paying taxes, having tax returns for all the years you have a work permit. You can even go back and file tax returns for the years that you didn't yet have work permit, but you worked and you had income. All of that is good moral character. And finally, the third thing you have to prove for VAWA, to win VAWA, is abuse. So this is subjective. It doesn't have to be physical, but subjective means you had to feel, you personally, in your head and in your heart, that you were mistreated, you were treated badly. Maybe in some other family, somebody calling somebody a fool or a bad person or cursing them out wouldn't hurt their feelings. But you subjectively were hurt when your spouse called you names and humiliated you. That's abuse. If you can prove that, if you go to a psychologist, then you can win VAWA. Kamuji says, hello, my favorite lawyer, Kamush from Atlanta. Kamu, thank you for watching. Thank you for being patient. I was away last week in Florida, in Miami. It was great. But of course, I was with my kids, who I love, and I love spending time with them. But it was a whole job. You know, when you're with your kids, you have to constantly clean up after them. They go to the beach. I had to take care of washing their clothes and the towels, and because we have our own place in Miami. And although we had a great time, it was still a little bit of a job for me. And then our flight back was rescheduled. We had to go the next day instead of the day we were originally planned to leave. So that was a little bit stressful, but it's all good. Asif Vahara says, I'm waiting for my I-601 provisional unlawful presence waiver. I got robbed back in 2023. What if I apply for a VU visa? Can I still get a waiver? Yeah, you can have both. The U visa now takes about 5.5 years. 5 years for the U visa. So by then, hopefully, you'll know what happened to your provisional waiver. Okay. El Moscalito News says, in case something happens, can I stay for 5 weeks and outside of US and come back? Okay, with my advance parole. Absolutely. You can use your advance parole and stay out for a month or even 2 months. I know that you have an important reason to travel. Your friend has cancer, so you can go and you can stay. Now, just keep your eye on the case. If your family is here who's getting mail for you, make sure that if you get the letter to come to an interview, they usually give you like 2 weeks. You can quickly get on a plane and come to US for your interview. And Angela Mike says, I love you and you're so good. Thank you so much. I appreciate the love here. That's all the news and all the questions that I had for today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. This will be on my Instagram and on my YouTube channel for a while. So you can come and watch, even if you didn't catch me live, which I know is not easy. It's on a Wednesday at 11 o'clock in the morning. Some people are still at work. I appreciate you watching. If you have any immigration questions, my information is in our profile here on Instagram and also on YouTube and Facebook. Also on the bottom of the screen here. Text us if you want to speak to us. Make an appointment for a paid consultation, and we take it from there. We work on the most complicated immigration cases, and we win. Thank you so much for watching. Drop a comment to talk about your case or ask me a question. Or if you like this video, it's okay to just say that you had a great time watching and you liked it. And I really appreciate it. We read all the comments. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye. See you next week, next Wednesday.